Here, the Week 15 NFL Power Rankings, going to go through them 32 through 1, as we usually do, go from the bottom to the top. Before we get into it, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit walterfootball.com for tons of content. We have NFL picks against the spread, 2026 and 2027, NFL mock drafts. We grade every signing, we grade every trade, we grade every coach firing and hiring, too. So that's coming up, so that'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, visit walterfootball.com. All the content is free. All right, so here are the power rankings. Hopefully our video doesn't cut off like last week and we get to do one video instead of two. And the number 32 team for the first time bumping the Titans out of 32. The Raiders 32 down from 31. Geno Smith was sacked 10 times a few weeks ago. They've been pathetic all year. Their offensive line is just so brutal. They have nothing going on for them. And now Geno Smith is hurt. Geno Smith, not a good quarterback unless you're DEI hire Mina Kimes. But now it might be Kenny Pickett because Smith is injured. And so that's going to make things even worse. So I think the Raiders are 32 because the Titans, who are now at 31, won a game. They beat Cleveland. Tony Pollard had this great game. I don't know if the Titans are going to win again. I would suspect they do. Maybe they do against the Saints on December 28th, but that's about it. They played their hearts out against the Browns for some reason. I don't know why. That really cost them their draft capital. They're now third instead of first. So if Mendoza is the only quarterback who comes out of the top three, then the Titans aren't going to get that haul that they would have gotten otherwise. So potentially just devastating win that they had against the Browns. I know that NFL players are just paid mercs and they don't care, but ownership and the front office, they have to be pretty upset about the loss. Number 30, we have the Jets, who are down from 29. It's kind of a shame that they didn't have a chance to come back, which, again, helps their draft capital, although they didn't really move. So Brady Cook was just awful. Tyrod Taylor fired only 4 passes. I'll be surprised if either Taylor or Fields doesn't play. I would love to see Brady Cook again. I love backing just completely inept quarterbacks. Kind of reminds me of the Jets when they had Tim Boyle and they played the Dolphins on the Black Friday game. And that was like one of the easiest bets we've ever made, just backing the Dolphins because Tim Boyle was on the other side. The Jets play the Jaguars this week. So if it is Brady Cook, we're going to be going very heavily on the Jaguars. Number 29 is the Saints, down from 30, or up from 30, I should say. They beat the Buccaneers on the road, so they knocked out a bunch of people in Circa Survivor. Condolences to them. But Tyler Shuck looked good. His second good game. The first one was against Carolina. So there might actually be something there. They might want to give him a full year. They spent the 40th overall pick on him. Plus, it's sounding like maybe Ty Simpson and Dante Moore might be going back to school. So if it's only Mendoza, I don't think the Saints are going to make the pick because it's going to be one of the Raiders or the Browns or the Jets leapfrogging a bunch of teams that trade up for the number 1 pick to get Mendoza. Number 28, we have the Redskins, who Jaden Daniels come back. Then he got hurt again. It's the 4th time he's gotten hurt this year. This guy is so brittle right now. Or brittle, I guess. He was awful against Minnesota. But yeah, it's a shame because they really this was the first game that they're going to have Jane Daniels, Terry McLaurin, Deebo Samuel, and a healthy offensive line on the field at the same time, and then it just went awry because Daniels got hurt. So I guess wait till next year, but hopefully Daniels can stay healthy next year. The Giants are 27, down for 25, so I mean they had the bye, so why would they move down? I guess it was just other teams moving up, and we'll get to who those teams were. So yeah, we'll see what Jackson Dart does after the bye. I have a bet on the Giants to have the fewest wins this year, and the Titans win open that up. So hopefully they lose out. I would love to see that. Number 26, we have the Browns, down from 24. So kind of a disgraceful loss to lose to the Titans at home. Kind of reminds me of anecdote. I was a Sixers fan growing up, and they were terrible after they traded Barkley. I should say terrible after they traded Barkley. And I was so young when they had Barkley, so I really only saw them post Barkley. And the Sixers had one of the worst records in the NBA, and the Mavericks had they're the only team that had a worse record, and the Sixers are hosting the Mavericks. I couldn't wait for that game because the Sixers were finally going to get a win, and then they ended up losing the game. And so I kind of like I wonder if there's some young Browns fan out there who's like, oh yeah, we get the Titans, we're going to win a game, and then they lose, and then they're just disgraced, and their friends make fun of them in school, which happened to me. So that's some bad memories from my childhood. But the Sixers eventually got Iverson, so they were good. So maybe the Browns will get someone, the NFL version of Iverson. I don't know who that is. Maybe in the future. Number 25, the Falcons, down from 23. Losing to the Seahawks in a blowout fashion looks pretty bad, especially given that Seattle was in a rough spot, given that they just had a Sam Darnold revenge game, and then we're going to play the Colts and then the Rams. But it was 6-6 at halftime, and then the Falcons just self-destructed. They had a return touchdown for Seattle, then Bijan fumbled in the red zone, and then Cousins had an interception. Things just really unraveled in what was a close game. If you had the Falcons +7, just kind of, it's not a bad beat. It's just like unfortunate events that happen. Number 24, the Colts, down from 18. And really, I mean, it could be even worse. Now, Riley Leonard was decent against the Jaguars, and relief wasn't good or anything. But he was okay. But now he's week to week as well. The Colts don't have a quarterback on the roster, not one, or a healthy quarterback, I should say. They don't have a healthy one. They're contacting Phillip Rivers, who hasn't played in 5 years. Good luck. And they have to play Seattle, the number one defense. Might as well get Max Brosmer out there. Like we saw what happened there. And Seattle's offense didn't even play well in the game. They won 26-0. It's going to be a bloodbath in Seattle this Sunday. It's going to be bad. Number 23, the Dolphins, up from 26. A couple 4 wins in a row here, or actually 5 out of 6 that they won. But, they played the Redskins. They played the Saints. They played the Jets. Hard to take this seriously. Also, Atlanta was in that winning streak. We'll see what the Dolphins do against good teams. Not that they're playing a good team this week, it's the Steelers, but the Steelers are, or at least I think they're better than the Dolphins. Obviously, we haven't seen them yet here. But I'm still pretty skeptical about the Dolphins. I don't think they really do anything well outside of run with Achane. And there's only so much you can do with that. Number 22, we have the Panthers. They remain 22. They're coming off the bye. We'll see how they do after winning a game and hearing about how great they were for 2 weeks. I think they might be in trouble against the Saints once again. We'll see. Number 21, the Cardinals, who remained at 21. I know they suffered a blowout loss, but that was the Rams really motivated off their defeat. I'm not going to dock the Cardinals for that. They still had 7 games this year where it really could have gone either way. So they're better than this 3-10 record says, even though they had a really tough loss against the Rams. Number 20, we have the Vikings, up from 27. So this is one of the teams that moved up. The Vikings played well for the first time with McCarthy coming back from injury. And not a surprise, because talked about it all last week. This is going to be the first time McCarthy is going to face a defense worse than 14th since he came back from injury, and Washington was 32nd. So McCarthy looked pretty good. And now he plays Dallas this week, and Dallas is not quite the worst, but they're like 28th or 27th in the defense. So McCarthy should have another decent game here. Number 19, the Steelers, up from 20. They somehow beat the Ravens on the road after the week before, where Aaron Rodgers couldn't complete a single pass over the line of scrimmage until the third quarter. He was so bad against Buffalo, and then somehow he looked like vintage Aaron Rodgers suddenly. I don't know where that came from, but yeah, he was great. And if he could continue this, the Steelers are not going to be an easy out. At least as far as, maybe the first round of the playoffs. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl or anything, but maybe they can win a playoff game, even though, I doubted that beforehand. But I'm just saying, if Rodgers plays like that, which, probably not going to happen consistently. Although I do like him against Miami, because Miami's defense is horrible. Number 18, we have the Buccaneers, down for 15. They lost to the Saints at home, which automatically has to dock you a few points in the power rankings. Baker Mayfield's not healthy. Tristan Wirf's not healthy. He didn't play. They lost Ben Bredeson, one of the guards. He's out. They've had injuries on defense. The team's just banged up right now. They might get Mike Evans back, which is nice. And the other good news is that they play Atlanta, so should be a win here. If they lose to Kirk Cousins, there are going to be some major issues here for Tampa. Number 17, the Ravens, down from 10. Very disappointing. I can see if Lamar Jackson's banged up and the Ravens don't score much. That's fair. But their defense just allowed Aaron Rodgers to zip up and down the field against them. That was just a pathetic performance by the defense. So I had to drop them out of Group B to Group C. They just sucked. They sucked so hard on Sunday. It was awful. Number 16, we have the Cincinnati Bengals, who beat the Ravens, so that's why ahead of the Ravens despite the worst record. They play the Ravens again this Sunday. I don't know why the NFL does these like 2 and 3 weeks. They're doing that with Washington, Philly too coming up. I think it's so dumb. But anyway, Cincinnati, they were in control of that Buffalo game for a while into that tipped interception, and then there was another interception that was also tipped. So things could have gone a lot differently for them. They could have won in Buffalo, which would really put them in a great spot. But now they're still 2 games behind Baltimore and 3 behind Pittsburgh, so they're pretty behind the 8 ball right now. Number 15, the Cowboys, down from 9. Another pitiful defensive performance here. I suspected that they were going to stay close to the Lions, but they were blown out like through and through. It was completely lopsided. And George Pickens, what a horrible performance from him. Like, there's no effort from him. I don't know what he was doing. And you kind of see why the Steelers let him go. Although I still would want him on the roster just because of the upside. But there is an obvious downside with him. So just be careful, Cowboys, if you re-sign him. Stuff like that's going to happen. Number 14, Chargers, up from 19. They beat the Eagles on Monday Night Football. That was the good news. The bad news is that they lost another tackle, so things are going to get even worse for Justin Herbert offensively. But they won, but it came at a price. Number 13, the Niners, up from 14. They had their bye, so maybe Brock Purdy is going to be healthier. Ricky Pearsall healthier off the bye. I think it's like not quite at the right time. They could have used it a lot earlier, but it's still a decent time to have a bye because they have some injuries that they need to heal up. Number 12, we have the Denver Broncos, still 12 from last week. I'm just not a believer in this team. Like they scored 10 and 17 offensive points against the Raiders. 7 this past week came off of a kick return by Mims. Against the Raiders. The Raiders are 26 in defense. How do you only score 10 and 17 against the Raiders? They scored 13 against the Jets. They had no points against the Giants until the third quarter. They barely beat the Titans in week 1. They barely beat the Redskins. Like this team's a joke. Like, come on. Like, can you have some convincing wins here? I can't trust this team. I can't trust Bo Nix. The defense is legit, but I don't trust Bo Nix at all. Number 11, we have the Chicago Bears, up 13, so not quite top 10 yet, and they did lose to the Packers, but I'm pretty impressed with Chicago's offensive line, especially the run blocking. It's fantastic. And the defense is getting healthier. I still don't trust the defense fully, but it is healthier. I don't trust Caleb Williams either. That interception he threw, that was such a terrible pass. You can't make that throw as a professional quarterback who's expected to be the quarterback of a winning team. Come playoff time, if the Bears make the playoffs, I would have concerns about Caleb Williams. Number 10, the Chiefs, down for 5. They could still make the playoffs. They could run the table. They played the Chargers this week, and the Chargers are coming off an overtime game, so they're going to be exhausted. And maybe that's what gets the Chiefs back into this. But it seems like all the time people are like, "Oh, the Chiefs are still alive. Chiefs are still alive." And at some point, you have to kind of realize that this is basically like a zombie team. And it's just so hard to trust this team. They have played some very difficult opponents. Recently they had the Colts when Daniel Jones was healthy. They had the Broncos. By the way, that Denver win over Kansas City doesn't look nearly as good. They had the Bills. They had the Cowboys, who aren't that bad. And then they had the Texans, who you haven't seen them yet, so they're in the top 10. So it's just a brutal schedule for the Chiefs. Now it is turning around because they have the Chargers. Like I said, Chargers gonna be exhausted. So maybe this is the final chance that they have. We'll see what they do. Number 9, we have the Jaguars, up from 17. Big move for the Jaguars here. I love the Jacoby Myers addition. Just such a nice receiver for Trevor Lawrence to have. This is a guy you can really rely on, and Lawrence has never had that. He's always had dynamic receivers like Brian Thomas Jr. or Calvin Ridley, but those guys drop passes or get injured. Christian Kirk also injured all the time. Travis Hunter didn't know where to line up. He's injured. But Jacoby Myers is like the rock solid guy. Compare him to your friend. He's not like your best friend, but he's your friend you call if you need to move or if you need a ride to the airport or something. And of course, Uber being too expensive. That's the disclaimer there. Yeah, so Lawrence has never had anyone like that. And now he does, and lo and behold, he's doing a lot better. So I don't think that's a coincidence. I like this Jaguar team, and their defense has improved lately. They're ranked 11th now in the past 2 months. So everything's pointing up for the Jaguars, but they're still behind the Texans. The Texans beat them with their backup quarterback. I don't think you can argue that Houston being ahead of them. It could go either way, but the Texans now with Stroud healthy, their defense is insane. They went to Kansas City and won, which is really impressive. I know the Jaguars also beat the Chiefs, but that was at home. These teams, you can go back and forth on them. I think you can order them any which way. I do have a bet on the Jaguars to win the division, so I'm rooting for Jacksonville right now. So number 7, we have the Lions up from 8. So nice bounce back win off their loss to the Packers, but I still have major concerns about their defense. And it's worse now because Brian Branch has lost for the year. He's outstanding for them. So the defense just keeps getting worse and worse. At some point, you have to worry about the wonder about like the training regimen they have, maybe the stretching regimen. They just keep getting injured, and I don't know if it's a coincidence by now. Number 6, the Philadelphia Eagles down from 4, so they lost the Chargers on Monday Night Football. They have a Group A defense. Their defense is amazing. Their offense has been in shambles. Lane Johnson being injured has really decreased the offense's potency. But he's going to be back at some point, and the Eagles still have a little bit of time to figure things out offensively and get going. And like if they have just like an above average offense, which like they had an elite offense last year, so it doesn't even have to be that great. If they have an above average offense, this is one of the best teams in the NFL because their defense is sick. So the trick is getting to that above average offense, and that would involve Lane Johnson. So he has to return. But yeah, this team right now just stinks in terms of their ability to score. Number 5, we have the New England Patriots up from 7, so they had their bye. It's like, well, how can they move up two spots from a bye? The Eagles moved down and some other team moved down, the Chiefs. So it's not like the Patriots, they're great bye. We're moving up as 2 teams moving down. So just keep that in mind if you want to talk to me about that. Number 4, we have the Packers up from 6. Nice win against the Bears. That they earlier in the year, they've been underwhelming. They lost to the Browns. They lost to the Panthers. They almost lost to the Cardinals. They almost lost to the Bengals with Joe Flacco. But recently, they've really improved. It started with Minnesota. They blew Minnesota out. Then they were up by 10 3 times against Detroit. And then they beat the Bears pretty soundly at home. So they're looking better, and they look very formidable. They have all the receivers back outside of Tucker Kraft, obviously, tight end. But Christian Watson's great. Jaden Reed is back. Even Matthew Golden, who he didn't really do anything last week, but he's back as well. So Packers getting healthy at the right time. Number 3, we have the Seattle Seahawks, still 3 from last week. Nice win against Atlanta. It was 6-6, but it was a bad scheduling spot for them. They overcame that. Now they get the Colts with who knows, just starting a quarterback. And then after that, we had the big game against the Rams to see who's going to win the NFC West. Number 2, the Bills up still 2. Josh Allen's just incredible in that game. I know the Bills are trailing for most of it, but Allen just willed the team to victory. You could really argue that he's MVP again. And the Bills are going to be such a tough out in the playoffs. They don't have the best record in the conference, but I would be, if I'm a team that sneaks into the playoffs, I would rather face anyone else but the Bills. And then number 1, no surprise here, the Rams. What a great comeback from that loss they had against the Panthers. They stormed back versus Arizona, and that was our top play of the week. We had a big play on the Rams -9.5, and also we made a play on the -20.5 plus 330. So congrats if you follow that. So you can check that out on the site. We have all our NFL picks. We have big write-ups for each game, and everything's free, like I said. So check out walterfootball.com. And please, thanks for watching this. Please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Visit walterfootball.com for all the free content about the NFL you can want. And I will talk to you in the next video.